the loudspeaker, spoke up and said, "Did you hear that? Give up. Give up. Give up. Give up. Give up."
I'm Clyde Lewis, and this is Ground Zero. Ground Zero coming to you live from FM News 101 KXL in Portland, Oregon. And tonight we're online by going to groundzeromedia.org or KXL.com and check out the stream we have available. Soon we'll have the live stream up with the the video feed that we have. I'd like to say hello to all the people who are tuning in tonight all over the world, because you need to hear what needs to be said tonight. It's important that we talk about this. We openly talk about this tonight because I am aware of a few things that I'm going to be giving you, information I'm going to be giving you that's going to protect you from being an enemy of the state. And I know that I've been focusing on this for the past few weeks. People wonder why I'm not talking about the paranormal. I'm talking about conspiracy. I'm talking about that. And I'm going to talk about this until I'm able to ascertain what is happening. And what I'm seeing is not good. And I don't know what to do. I mean, and in fact, I'll tell you this. I know that what I'm doing right now is agitating a lot of people. I know right now that there are actually people that are allegedly part of this fringe community that we all love and we all think we're a part of, who are attacking me on their shows now. And they're doing it, and they're accusing me of being a number of things I'm not. And I know that when you start getting closer to the truth, they ridicule you. And they do so because they feel uncomfortable about what you're saying. And so what they do is they go after you and they accuse you of being certain things, or they say that you're certain things, and it's hate speech. And I do not condone the hate speech. I do not condone that at all. And so I'm putting them on notice, and it's going to be an indefinite notice, because I'm really, really getting fed up with how people are meant to undermine and not build up what it is that we're trying to do here. So if you're aware who this person is, and you listen to this person, and you follow this person, I suggest you find a way not to follow him, and I suggest you convince other people not to, and the reason why is because it's not productive for anything or anyone. And this person is reckless, and he feels that his freedom of speech is something that he can throw around like a cudgel. And one thing that I do know about people like this person, I know that if they have a lot to say that's hateful, it's because they have a lot of things they're hiding. And they are hiding something, and you need to be aware that what they want to exploit, what they try to exploit, are the very things that they probably do themselves, if they do it in the spirit of hate. So always remember, it's been my experience when I worked with people, when I worked in intelligence, when I worked with several people, writers, lawyers, people in several groups that we've done and worked with in the past, intel groups that we've worked with in the past, that those who have the most to cut down, the most to hate, have the most hidden in their closets. So I'll state that for the record. And I'm sure if they're listening to me, they'll know who they are, and those who continually visit their show will know how I feel about that. It's just a waste of time. It's a big waste of time. Tonight on Ground Zero, there's a few things that I need to cover. And when I was on Beck and Burns' show tonight, when I was doing the crossover, I was frustrated. I certainly and sincerely was frustrated. And the reason why is because I am hoping that we all understand that what is coming is not something that I am kidding about. It's not something you're going to go, okay, well, yeah. No, it's coming. And I'm sure that by 2013, we'll be in a different place. And I'm not saying we're going to be dead. I'm not saying the world's coming to an end. But what I'm saying is between 2013 and 2020, we're going to be in a different place and with a different mindset, and we're all going to have to accept what they give us. I had posted on my website some information I got about Milwaukee, Wisconsin Red Cross, and plans that they were going to be on alert for a terrorist attack. The last time that I gave any information like this, I got into trouble with my network. But I know that I have the support and the backing of everyone here at Alpha. And if I report something, they know that I'm not going to do it to get a rise out of you. I'm going to do it because I'm seriously wanting to help. But someone had told me, and she had to tell me in confidence, that one of the major medical centers in Chicago right now is actually, they are on alert. And the reason why is because they're preparing in case any sort of attack on Chicago happens. And this hospital supplies a lot of medical personnel for the city's west side. The hospital's on full alert for the weekend of the NATO summit. And all medical staff are to be prepared for any and every situation. Even the non-medical staff are expected to be ready for anything. They're going into like battle stations, she says. It's like battle station mentality for the NATO summit. The Red Cross in Milwaukee is being asked to make plans as well in case it's a widespread event in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The police, the Department of Homeland Security, and major hospitals are all on alert for something like this, and it makes one feel very paranoid, and it makes one feel very, very frightened as to what may be going on. But why? Why are we allowing the meeting of NATO in Chicago? Don't they know that this is making us a security risk, especially in the times we are in now? The country is far from stable. We have got a lot to work on here in this country because we have allowed ourselves to fall into the morass of civil unrest because of race and politics and everything else. And today as well, if you go to my website at groundzeromedia.org and look at the front page, I was sent, and I find this very interesting because apparently I have touched a nerve. I was sent 3 pictures today. 3 pictures that I don't think anyone else has. And I feel very lucky to be able to get this information to you and to show you. One is a black Chinook helicopter hovering over Vancouver, Washington, near a school. That was posted on my Facebook, and I transferred it to my front page of my website. Also, what appears to be, and this is sent to me by someone in Lincoln City. There was a guard or a military exercise being carried out at Lincoln City Hospital, and there were pictures taken of the men there. They were doing what they do, and that is they were doing their drills, whatever their drills might be. But the thing that is most troubling, I mean, I'm desensitized to all of this stuff now, the black helicopters and the training going on. But what's most interesting is the picture that was sent to me today that allegedly has been shot in Virginia Beach, the place where the Bilderberg meeting is supposed to take place. And what you see is you see what looks like military truck, or 3 or 4 military trucks all parked in line. They have no insignia, no American insignia at all. No numbers, no identification numbers, no markings, just a standard military green truck. And the truck has in its back what looks like a cage. It looks like they are vehicles to transport people for mass arrest. And they are parked and they're waiting there in case they are needed. I guess we're used to this now, because I would say, is this not America? Or what happened to America? What has happened to America? What has happened? It's becoming too real, ladies and gentlemen. So real that I'm forgetting where I live. I don't know. 503-417-9595 or 1-877-733-1011. Does anybody care anymore about where they live? Does anybody care about what's happening and whether or not we're going to be seeing military armored vehicles in our neighborhoods and on our streets and tanks and all those things you see in China? Does that even bother anyone anymore? 503-417-9595 or 1-877-733-1011. I'm Clyde Lewis. This is usual. I mean, it's like I was talking with David on the break. I don't recognize America anymore. I just don't recognize it. I don't recognize people that, say to me that it's okay that this is happening. I don't. Why? Why are we bringing Nato here? Why the Bilderberg Group? Why all? I mean, don't we have a Congress? Don't we have a Constitution? Don't we have these things and it's a conspiracy. You cannot argue that it isn't. You can't argue that there is not a conspiracy to destroy what we've worked hard and fought for. And I'm beginning to believe that no one cares. I'm beginning to believe that, they're waiting with open arms to a new system that may give them what they really want, and that is the redistribution of wealth where everyone has the same things. Everyone has housing. Everyone has this. Everyone has that. And, yeah, that's a great dream. But someone is going to have to pay the piper eventually. And it's not just here in America that they're going to be doing this. They're doing it all over the world. And countries that haven't done anything, that haven't contributed anything to the world, are going to get compensated. And they feel we owe them. I hope you understand what is happening. And I think that, it's like Byron Beck said tonight when he was on the show. He says, I hear you talk your craziness when you're in the office and everything else, and then I see it in the news like 2 or 3 days later. Yes, you do. And you always will. I'm not kidding you. You always will. You will always get from me what you need to get to help you, to get you to plan ahead. You'll always get that. Why? It's in my blood, because I wanted to be a weatherman. But instead, I opted to be a talk show host. I did TV news and weather in high school. I did the weather reports. I was a geek. Stood up there with a stupid map, wrote highs and lows, occluded fronts and cold and warm fronts and squalls and thunderstorms and everything else. I talked about them, and everybody thought that I was a nut. Still. Because I was doing the weather. But you know what? It got me a grade, got me an A+, doing the weather every day. Got fired because what I really wanted to do was reporting. But beyond that, here we are now, you and me, tonight, and we're talking very seriously about our country. We're talking very seriously about seeing black helicopters in the sky. Seriously about seeing troops training in our neighborhoods. Talking seriously about the combination of Russian, Canadian, and American troops training together in Denver, Colorado. There's a frightening emotional investment that we put into things here in the United States. And I say that it's frightening because nationalism never has been a substitute for common sense. And what we're seeing around us with the increased military desensitizing, what we're seeing with that is what victimization does to logic and what mental torture does to the intellect. We tend to allow things to pass. because we feel that we deserve it or need it. I mean, how it is so weird that with our president and what he's supposedly, well, what he told us he'd do, we are so hopeful that things will change that we ignore that they really haven't changed at all. And I'm so confused anymore by people who believe that all the secret meetings of the elite, all the security, and all the danger we put ourselves in is worth it. They will argue with me. Say, oh, Clyde, come on. It's worth it. We need this. We need to be trained. We need to be prepared for anything. Yes, we do. But you know what we need to do as well? We shouldn't go looking for it. You know not to walk in a part of town where there's a lot of crime. You know to stay away from that area. You know not to be playing with a black widow spider as a pet. You know that. You know that if you play with a scorpion, you'll probably get stung. But that doesn't stop us from bringing NATO to Chicago and putting Milwaukee on alert and Chicago on alert for if anything horrible that goes down, because they're planning something bad. And we're told that we are to let this happen and not get in the way and not talk badly about it and to accept it. But you know, we need to toughen our emotional skins and stop pretending that whatever is happening with the NATO summits, the Bilderberg meetings, and the Global Sustainability Summit is to be for our betterment. The government already has its hooks in you. The question is if you'll allow yourself to be reeled in. I mean, we continue to believe, because the mainstream media will try to keep you in check, we try to believe that our home, our government, our system is too great to fail. But you know what? If it was all that great, then why are we bringing in these people like NATO and Bilderberg, and why do we need a summit in the UN to tell us that we need a framework for a new form of government? Why? 503-417-9595. That's 9KXL or 1-877-733-1011. We go to the calls. Go to the calls after this. We want to hear from you. It's your chance tonight to be the media. Don't be angry at the media, please. Support the media by letting your voice be the weapon of choice. I want to hear from you tonight because I personally need to know that there are people out there that feel the same way I do or can give me guidance if I'm wrong in the way I'm thinking. I'm Clyde Lewis. This is Ground Zero, and we'll be back.
You must leave the immediate vicinity. If you do not disperse, you may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Evil has found a willing servant. Evil has found a willing servant.
Evil has found a willing servant.
Unfortunately, we may not always be able to tell you why that agent or agents are knocking on your door. Is there a chance that some of your civil liberties may slip while we guarantee the security of this country? Maybe. Maybe.
Not what is being presented today. They understand what's going on, and it's not anything that relates to humanitarian training whatsoever.
When you look at the fact of a military unit being out with all of these local officials, the army and everybody out there, I think it's just going to scare people to death.
I'm Clyde Lewis, and this is Ground Zero. Tonight, what happened? No helicopters show up. People think that we're under attack. And nobody thinks we're protected. Because attacks kill people. There are people that die during attacks, and that's why people get worried. There's gunfire. There's ordnance being exploded. It's happening. And it's not good for the psychological well-being of this country. Because it makes you wonder what is coming. We've been wondering what is coming. With rounds being bought, rations being bought, pill boxes being set up in various locations, you need to show your documents in Chicago if you don't have an address that is on your ID that's the same. This is the new America, people. This is what we're having. This is what it's leading to, because we have to have these meetings with all of these people that are going to be directing this country that has nothing to do with a Constitution, a Congress, or even a president. This is America now. Adam, hi, you're on Ground Zero.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
First time caller. Yeah, I was just talking to your call screener, and Tuesday morning I woke up, took the dog out about 10:15, and ground started rumbling. Didn't think anything of it because they're doing a project on SR 500, and then all of a sudden I hear chopper blades. I was like, look up, 6 black, the double-propped helicopters, looked like transport, like solid black helicopters. Just, I mean, I didn't think anything of it, but it was just kind of strange that it was in that area. I know Pearson Air Museum is down towards the Columbia River, and that's pretty much where they were, where they ended up, because my wife works down in that area, and she said that she was basically following them along the Columbia River going towards the gorge area. So I don't know what was going on. It just seemed really, really weird, kind of got an eerie feeling. I don't know what's going on. I don't. A lot of my friends think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, you just got to open your eyes a little bit, is kind of my opinion.
So you're telling me, okay, so you're telling me that when you first saw the Chinooks flying over the area, you got an eerie feeling. So you didn't feel like, you thought something was up. You thought something was going down, and you were kind of worried at first when you saw them, right?
Yeah, it's not normal. I mean, police helicopters, news helicopters, okay, but not, 3 sets of, helicopters, huge military transport helicopters flying over my neighborhood and towards the, the small Pearson Air Park.
Right.
It just seemed really, really strange. But it's not normal.
Right.
It just, my buddies are like, oh, you're going crazy. And so it's like, no, it's just because you guys aren't opening your eyes and actually looking, out and seeing what's really going on. It's like, I might be, thinking it's, a little too far-fetched, but at the same time, it's like you got to kind of keep your mind open to those kind of possibilities, because it doesn't seem so far-fetched, after a lot of the things you've been saying. I'm not a big political guy. I don't find myself political at all, but when you just sit back and open your eyes and just notice the BS that's going on right now, it just kind of makes you wonder and think. I mean, I got a couple of friends here at work. It's just weird. All the stuff that's going on, it's like it's falling into place, and it's not in our favor. And it just seems that way. And I don't know what's going to happen or what's going on, or if anything even is going to happen. But it's got me concerned, not worried, but more concerned for the most part.
See, and I agree with you. I'm very concerned when I see things like this, and I don't want to, I don't want to make mountains out of molehills, but it's true. When you see things in the sky like that don't belong there, you tend to go, whoa, what is going on, and why am I seeing these big black choppers that cause the whole ground to vibrate?
Yeah, and it was, it would have been a different story if it was just one helicopter. Okay, that's fine, but 6 of them, completely strange.
I mean, one is enough to cause the ground to feel like it's shaking. Imagine 6 at once. That's a lot of helicopters to be dealing with, especially Chinooks.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to call and comment on that.
Thank you so much for having your eyes open. Thank you so much for calling this program and telling us about it, because I did get a picture of a Chinook on my website that was sent to me by a listener who said he saw it hovering over a school, and he felt like it was out of place as well. Phyllis, hi, you're on Ground Zero.
Oh, hi, Clive. Great show again tonight. And I just want to say that I get upset as anybody can believe, because when I talk to people about what's going on, no one actually, maybe 1% of the people I talk to believe what's going on. Our food prices are going to go sky high. They're already so high right now. Not to mention, of course, gas is coming down a little bit, but our food is going to continue.
I saw a pound of butter for $5.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, butter's usually about $2, maybe $1.50. It's $5. I saw it for $5. I don't know if that was a mistake, but I paid for it. But $5 for a pound of butter? Come on, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, seriously. It was probably organic and no grain-fed beef, and it goes for $5 a pound.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to eat better. I've realized I've gained weight because I've eaten a lot of cheap food because I can't afford to eat. And so now I'm saying, well, I guess I'm going to have to pay the extra cost so I can down the weight and look better because, this is the heaviest I've been since I've been out of the hospital. And that was like 3 years ago.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
It really is expensive. Just everything. Nobody's listening. It's like when I tell them, don't vote for this person. We don't want to have the same administration. They look at me like I'm crazy, and I try to explain to them. And I'm just mad as hell about all of it, really.
Well, I agree. I'm mad as hell, too, and I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you that it's the fault of the mainstream, and I'm talking about the corporate mainstream media. As I said before on the Beck and Burns show, what we try to do here at KXL is deliver the news as best we can, get the information out there as best we can. Our reporters are some of the best out there. And I find it interesting, though, that people, unless it's being said by the talking heads on that television, no one's going to pay attention to it. And they know this. That's why they don't cover these stories. And that's why when Byron Beck was so astounded that he said he heard me talking about the troops joining together in Denver. And he said, it's Clyde doing some sort of a crazy thing to get a rise out of people. And then he says, I heard it on the news today. And he says, I about died. He says, wait, that was like 3 or 4 days ago you were talking about this. And now it's real news? I go, it's always been real news. That's what I said. It's always been real news. You're getting it from Ground Zero first. It's unfiltered, I admit. But still, it's news. It's there. And you can bet that if it's not exactly how it is, it's damn close. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely. And if you watch Jay Leno or any of the other talk show guys, they're right there in it, going like, everything is wonderful, everything is perfect. We're so silly to worry about anything. And it's like, my golly, aren't people looking? Aren't they seeing?
I think a lot of people are, and I think that's why a lot of people are calling tonight. And I want to keep the momentum going. I want to know if people are seeing these things, and I want to know how people feel, because it's certainly, to me, confusing as an American to see these things go on. And look, I can say, hope for the best. These guys are here to protect me. But I don't buy that nonsense anymore. They can protect me anywhere, but they don't have to walk the streets, with their full armored gear going down. It's just psychologically wrong to do.
Yep, jackbooted thugs.
Yeah, it's just a bad thing. Phyllis, thanks for the call. It's just a bad thing. It's like, okay, I've got a camera on me right now. Hi camera, and I'm online right now. And the biggest thing I have a problem with is sometimes I don't get anything to eat before I go on the air. So here I am eating sometimes on the air, and I do it between breaks, and people are seeing me like chomp 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 chomp, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? That doesn't always look good. Okay, it's not good form to be eating in front of your listeners. It just isn't, unless you're sitting down at a dinner table with candlelight and you're just basically treating them like the friends that they are. But no, I'm sitting here chomping on something like some lettuce or some cabbage or some whatever I'm eating, and I'm thinking to myself, God, I'm going to hide over here. I'm going to come over here so they can't see me, or I'm going to hide over there. It's the same principle. You don't have to sit there and bring your big black helicopters out and have all the guys in their Darth Vader suits on city streets without getting any kind of psychological reaction. I think they know they're giving a psychological reaction to people. Or the powers that be know that. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. I mean, look, we had a Cold War. If anybody remembers the Cold War, did we have marching armies in the streets, armored vehicles in the streets during the Cold War when the godless Russians were aiming their missiles at us? Did we have that going on in the country? Hell no, we didn't have that. We still maintained a sense of decency. We didn't look like a damn gulag. That is what is going on here. What? Once they put the cinder block and the barbed wire up on every damn county line, you're going to pay attention to this? It's freaking irritating. It's discouraging. It's confusing. It angers me to no end. And people say, oh, it's all right. It's not all right. This is America. Why is it going on? Why are we making deals with these people? Why are we doing this? Does anybody see it as wrong or sick or stupid? Is there anything that's going to shake you and say, hey, why is this happening?